Let's try it again.
All right, YouTube's live.
Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
And then I think we went Twitch, right?
Not yet. I'm having problems with OBS, but I'll get there in a second.
Oh, you're gonna do Twitch?
Yeah. Oh, were you gonna do? Oh, you do Twitch, don't you?
It failed on me. It didn't save the stream.
That's right.
So if you want to do it this time, I'll fix it again next time.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and see if I can get it going. I was like, why is it not automatically connecting? It's because you did it last time. So okay, hold on, give me a second. This should work.
Well, and it should, but it's not doing it for some reason.
No, I don't have it up yet.
Well, no, I mean, I had it stored, but it stopped. So
Okay.
It's okay. Hi, everybody on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Hello, and welcome. This is interesting. So, for those of you watching us on Instagram, I literally have like a little camera pointed. So, like, if it's like askew, I'm sorry. It's you're gonna see my finger and like I'm trying. like,
Here we go. We're on Twitch now.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, hi everybody.
Everywhere.
Welcome to CosTalk Live. I'm going to make this big, and we're chilling over here.
You're sweating over here in Phoenix.
Okay, we're sweating over here everywhere. They're sweating in Seattle. They're sweating in Arizona.
It's hot.
It's hot everywhere. But yeah, so I think we're pretty good to start. There we go. My light was too bright. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about cosplay aftercare and storage, and we've collected a whole bunch of like. You know what? I'm gonna take this sorry little guy. There we go. I don't want to eat the microphone anymore. All right, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. We have pictures and we have discussions. And look, I disinfected some armor earlier today. So
good job, Sam.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Let's start with Miss Sabrina over there. Hello, Sabrina.
Oh, me?
You.
Duh.
I'm sorry. I'm still checking. I'm still checking. Are we live on Facebook?
Haru, go Haru.
Okay. Wait, Sam, are we live on Facebook? Because I don't see it. We
Yeah.
are. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm still setting things up.
So I'm Keychain Cosplay. I'm the Pacific Northwest cosplayer of the group.
Should be live.
I love running panels. I've done skits and such, and I'm really tired today, so I am unfunctional, and it is way too hot. Therefore, I'm in my swimmer boy because I didn't want to wear a shirt today. So I am Keychain Cosplay. I'll have a better intro in other videos.
All right, let's go ahead and go with you, Miss Ambrose.
Hi guys, so I'm Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. So today I'm dressed as Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series. The reason I picked this one was because it's kind of a softball costume. Like, I literally just finished it. It's kind of like an easy one to do before my next big project. And I used a Cricut to make the shirt.
Yay!
Yay! What can't the Cricut do? The Cricut can do everything. But I picked this one because she has a knife in the series that's like her weapon of choice, and I have been saying forever that I'm gonna conquer my foam fear and like make something out of foam. So I made this.
Yay!
This is like, okay, so I made something with foam before, but it was like literally like 4 years ago, so I feel like that doesn't even count. Like, that knowledge is gone. So this is like my first foam piece. I finished it, so I'm so proud, even though it doesn't look good. But I'm hoping that this is the start of, like, I have nowhere to go but up now with foam. So yeah, I conquered my fear. I actually made something out of foam, you guys, and finished it.
Yay!
Awesome. Congratulations. Sorry, guys. I've got all 3 platforms up now. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I'll figure out why it forgot Twitch next time. It
Okay.
does this, like, I feel like 2 streams, okay, and then the next stream it's like, no. It's like, what?
No.
What are you doing,
two's
Twitch?
pretty good. Two's pretty good though, right? Like, we can't knock it. Like, it's not. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. So I'm Sam of Thermal Cosplay, and I am Grandmaster in WeGas today because Grandmaster's awesome. I was going to be an Amazon, but clearly I couldn't handle the heat. So I just took that off after like an hour. I was like, I'm done. Nope. Also, by the way, I tested a stream sitting in a corset. No, I don't like
Ooh.
that.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No. Especially
No,
a
it does
corset
not.
made of 3 layers of leather. No.
Yeah, how about no?
How about no? Yeah. Okay. And are you ready now, Miss Sabrina?
I can do it now.
Okay.
I think. Okay, hi guys. My name is Jinx Cosplay, and I am a cosplayer for almost 20 years. I do primarily video game cosplays. I've cosplayed all over the world. I say that like I did, but I really went to like 3 international conventions. Hi guys, and I'm in my brand new Sabrina costume from Cosplay Company, and it's so cute. Oh my god, it's so cute. Okay, hi. Nice to meet you guys.
And then we got, I just want to give a shout out to a Kiwi cosplay. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. I'm seeing you sideways on Instagram because my phone is sideways. So I'm like trying to read this. But hello. So yes. Okay. So we're going to kind of just get started. Some of the things to think about when you're wearing your cosplay is what you're going to do after you're done wearing it. Obviously, a lot of costumes are clothing, so it's pretty easy to just throw them in a washing machine or take them to a dry cleaner and put them on a delicate cycle. Multiple options there. But for costumes who are fabric or that are made of fabric that cannot be washed because they've been painted or treated or had some kind of armor attached to them permanently, or for foam pieces or shoes, I mean, there's a list of things that cannot be like easily just thrown in a washing machine. So we're going to go through the things that cannot just be thrown in a washing machine and how to care for them afterwards, and then potential options for storing them. So, is that good summary? I think we're good.
Yeah. This sounds like great stuff to know.
Awesome. Okay. So, let's go ahead then. Do you guys want me to go ahead and share a photo, or do you guys want to talk about your aftercare procedures first?
Should we go by like category, like costumes, wigs,
Like
Yeah,
wigs,
let's start.
garments.
Where do we want to start with like garments?
Like the top down.
Top down, so
like,
wigs. Okay,
wigs.
Tap down.
smart. We'll start with wigs. Okay, I'll get the photos. Where's my desktop?
I
Hey,
would
Liz.
say that part of being an adult cosplayer is you got to do the adulty thing, and after con, make sure you take care of the cleaning first. Like,
Oh, man.
don't put it off. Don't put it like your costume in a corner for like a month. You'll regret it. Do the cleaning and the organizing and the putting away like literally as soon as you get home. I know it's hard, but that's important.
All right, so we were talking about cleaning. So real fast, I'm going to stop sharing for a second just because I'm going to show, this is how I take care of my wigs. Oh wait, this is backwards. I don't know, whatever. You guys see this? It's a rinse-free cleaner.
Let's see.
It's a rinse-free cleaner. It's by what's called On Natural, 100% natural, and it's for wigs, weaves, and synthetic or natural hair. Basically, you spray it in. It removes any topical buildup. You let it dry for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you spray it again if you find that it still has some kind of smell or has some kind of residue, and you let it dry another 5 to 10 minutes, then you towel dry or blow dry. And that way, like if you have a really, really distinct style on your wig and you don't necessarily want to remove the styling, but you want to clean the cap underneath and you want to clean any area that touched your face or head, this is a good way to do it. And then you just let it dry. Like I suggest getting those coat hangers that have little clips, because then you can just clip it and it will dry that whole time, and you just store it however you want. Like I store them on wig heads, and then I'll show you how I've seen Keychain store them, which is super cool. Show you my screen again. This is how Keychain stores them.
Yeah,
In
so
little cute boxes.
for my like fancier wigs that I don't know what to do with because they don't fit in their bags anymore, I use Build-A-Bear boxes because they're actually the perfect size to fit almost all my wigs. Because that's my Johan, my Yu-Gi-Oh wig, and then Vaxildon from Critical Role, which is just like a 64-inch wig. Like, it's insane. And it keeps them safe. It keeps the dust from not getting on them because you can close it up. It's also really convenient because you can carry them. Like, it has a handle on the top when you grab them. So you can bring them with you for conventions, and they're super easy, convenient. You know, they're not going to get any damage. I haven't decorated these 2 boxes. I have some boxes that are duct taped and then some that are sprayed. So you can always decorate them to what you like, but they're just perfect. And like, I have 2 little sisters, so we go to Build-A-Bear a lot. But sometimes I just pop in there and I'm like, hey, can I just have a box? And usually it's like $2 or something, but they are totally willing to like hand over a box. I think there are also tutorials online to do, I think these are called house style boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just so great. I'm in love with them. It's the only thing I do for my like fancy wigs now. Because if you leave them up on the shelf, sometimes they can collect dust if you're not using them a whole lot. And then you have to treat them before a convention. So that kind of just eliminates a step. I just love it.
And then let's see here. Who else sent me wigs? Was it you, Jinx?
I sent like boxes. That second picture.
Second
second image, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have a lot of styled wigs, so I actually just put them back in their bags, just how I, got them back in their hair nets if they have them, and I just lay them in the box, and that as long as they're brushed out when I put them in, when I take them back out, they just need a little bit of airing, like to get their shape back. But that's kind of what I do. I have a ton of unnecessary wigs. I don't know why I have so many wigs.
Because you love wigs. And
I do love wigs.
Ambrose has awesome wig styling too. She's
Yeah. She's got like she's the queen of wigs.
The wig wall. I need your husband to come build me one of these. Let's make this happen.
Oh, the wig wall? Yeah, he added the second row.
I know.
Next to it. So yeah, the wigs mine are the ones that are a little more elaborately styled. I put up on the wig wall. The other ones I kind of store like Jinx does, where I put them in the bag after brushing them out, and then I use painter's tape to label what's in the bag, so I don't have to open every single blonde bag when I'm looking for a specific blonde wig. I just put the tape on there and label what character it is. I have a little set of drawers that I put those the bagged wigs in, but the wig wall is very helpful for those styles that I'm like, I don't want this to get messed up. So
yeah, I mean those are gorgeous. I only have one styled wig, which is Jasmine. I keep it in a box in my closet.
You just hide it there.
Most of the wigs that aren't styled, I have them just in their original boxes. But one good thing to keep in mind is a lot of companies like Epic Cosplay Wigs and Arta on their website actually have a tutorial on how to wash your wigs properly.
Yep.
So if you ever have a question, just go to their website and look for their care page, and they have a bunch of different curling, straightening, washing, what works best if you're trying to get the shine out of your wig. All that's really just on their website now.
Yeah, and you always want to make sure after wearing your wig, if you've only been wearing it for like maybe an hour and you're not in a situation where you've been sweating excessively, you're probably okay. But if at any point you felt sweat droplets or you take it off and like your hair's damp, your wig is going to be damp on the underside as well. Synthetic hair doesn't really carry dampness as much as like regular hair will, so it's usually stuck to the wig cap itself. So disinfecting the wig cap is the most important thing. That's why I suggested the rinse-free wig cleaner. I also use something called Audubon. It's safe for pretty much everything. I have used it I'm out of it. I have to go buy a big thing. I've decided I'm just going to buy a big jug and keep refilling this because this is travel safe. I'm just going to keep going. But Audubon is a disinfectant. It's a fabric and air freshener. It's actually used a lot in sports equipment. And then there's another one that's like an all-natural base that you can get on Amazon that if you look up sports equipment disinfectant, it's very similar to Audubon. And, I mean, this even gets rid of buildup that may have been stuck for, like, several times. Because, like, mesh cloth tends to hold bacteria no matter how much you try to get rid of it. And Audubon, you spray it and you let it dry out for 12 hours, and then you spray it again and let it dry out for 12 hours, and like it's as if you bought the costume brand new or the wig. So I suggest using this or the rinse-free cleaner by On Natural, because it's just the easiest way to ensure while you're traveling your costumes stay good. Because if you just put it straight in a bag and you put it in your suitcase, it builds up more bacteria. And I've even seen people open their wigs and find mold because you don't know where you're going. Well, it's very easy to get a mold spore into anything. And so if you put it in a damp environment, and so, like, especially when I travel, like, to Seattle and stuff, I'm very cognizant of making sure everything stays out. Even though I don't sweat enough usually, the wigs are the one things that I usually let air out, just because your head is usually the place that's going to have the most moisture after being, like, trapped by a wig.
It rains a lot here, so we don't sweat.
Ooh, yeah.
We go outside and get wet.
Yeah, I left with very damp shoes, so I learned to get a deodorizer for shoes that I now intend to travel with called Purador. It's basically get rid of odor. Let me see if I can, like... Purador. And there's something similar to this, but that's the sports equipment thing where it basically disinfects shoes because obviously shoes are really, really hard to wash. So any sort of shoe disinfectant is highly advised. So wig disinfectant and shoe disinfectant. Just spray disinfectant that's safe on fabric.
You know what's also good is those charcoal packs.
Yeah.
Like you can get them on Amazon for like your shoes and stuff. And like one time I had a wig that I got rained on, and so I put like a couple charcoal packs in a bag with it, and then it took out like the rainy
this
smell
has charcoal
and kind of
in
dried
it
it out.
and essential oils. That's why I think it does so well. Is the charcoal?
Yeah, so you can use those charcoal packs for anything really. I mean, you can put them in your shoes and hey, let's be real. Like if your feet tend to sweat more and you want to make sure that you keep those shoes fresh, just stick them in there. They work really, really well. So you can put them in anywhere, your closet to remove smells and stuff like that. So that's really, they're really good too.
Yep. And then I'm gonna slide my little thingy over so I can actually read comments on Instagram. So you guys
I'm
gonna
gonna
see the video like shake a second. Sorry.
I'm gonna mention some comments too. So we have Steven Mata. He says, "Hello, friends." And he says, "What about spandex? Are they machine washable?" So we'll get to fabrics in just a second.
Yeah, we'll get to fabrics soon.
And Kat says, "Hi, just want to stop by and say hi. I love you and hope your day has been kind to you." Oh, thank you so much, sweetie.
Yeah, and people are asking about us listing these products in the description. Yes, after this, I will post the products to the Instagram page that we have. I'll post it to our Facebook, and we'll create a little list for people to be like, hey, this is what we prefer. This is what we suggest you using to disinfect wigs and wash them.
And YouTube Sakura says, "This sounds amazing. I'm excited." Yay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that whatever we have today will help anybody, somebody, anybody. So
yeah. And so we kind of went over the fact that you need to start with storing your wigs. After you're done, obviously storing is important, and then disinfecting is important. So we'll just show real quick the really cool idea of using little Build-A-Bear boxes and styrofoam heads that Key-chan has provided, which is so adorable and cute. That works really well. But if you don't have heavily styled wigs, then you can just do as Jinx does, which is the same thing I do, where I put, this is actually Ambrose real fast. So another way to store heavily styled wigs is create a wig wall.
And they're pretty easy. It looks intimidating,
it's just
but they're pretty
PVC
basic.
and like 2x4s is what it looks like.
Oh yeah, it's super simple. I think it took my husband maybe like 20 minutes.
Why does it keep going? There you go. Sorry, my thing kept moving. And then there's the last way of your picture just denied me. Hello.
Well, basically, make sure you comb out your wigs. If you need to clean them. I always brush them out before I put them back in their bags. And then it comes with a little tissue in the head, and then like the hairnet, put it back in the bag, lay them flat. They should be fine if you take them out again. So don't do the whole just take it off and throw it. I mean, I've done that, and then later I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll brush it.
Yeah, it's okay if you're if you're at a convention and you're just like, please free me, like I need to be just out of this. That's okay, and that's pretty normal. But be sure before you put it in a suitcase or before you pack it back up that you treat it in some way so that it doesn't build up grime, it doesn't become stinky, and it doesn't become moldy.
It doesn't come like a whole big rat's nest, and you will
thank yourself later. Seriously. Yes. Like, obviously, when you just got done with the after party at like 3 a.m, you don't need to exercise wig care right away. But like, maybe the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe like the next day, just like brush it out.
Especially if you're drunk after the after party, do not try and comb wigs and stuff like that. And be like, I can't go to bed yet. I gotta brush my wig.
All right, so we kind of covered wigs. I also want to talk about the next step, which is the face, which most people probably don't think often about. Like, your face is still a costume. A lot of people put makeup on. And what do you use to put makeup on? Brushes and sponges. So you need some kind of like a disinfectant for that too. And I use what's called a deep cleansing gel by Real Techniques. But you honestly can go anywhere that has makeup or sells makeup, and you will find a disinfecting gel. I suggest the gels because you can put them in if you have a brush cleaner, you can put just a teeny tiny amount of gel in the water, and that cleaner just turns into a lot of foam and a lot of soapy clean water very fast.
I ironically washed my brushes this morning. It wasn't even thinking about this. I was just like, I need to wash my brushes after I did my makeup today. And so I threw them in a cup, and I ran out of gel. So I just actually used, I have really sensitive skin, so I just used my body soap that I know my body can handle. And I just put it in a cup, and I rinsed out each brush really well. And then make sure you leave them to dry for as long as possible.
Yeah,
so
and
that
don't dry them with the bristles up. That actually soaks water into the wood or whatever plastic you're using, and it wears down the adhesive that keeps them attached. So dry them upside down with the bristles hanging down. So either get clips or tape them somewhere, or just like kind of lay them at an angle so that they're not straight up with the bristles facing up. And then same thing with sponges and stuff. You'll want to make sure that they have time to dry out, and as long as there's no moisture left in them. The cleanser that I have is like, it's this little tiny bowl, and it has this weird little like attachment thing to it, and you just press it and it spins it crazy fast in the water, and then you take it out. Well, you don't take it completely out, you just bring it up a little bit, and there's a drying section. You spin it again and it just spins it until it's completely dry, so I don't even have to wait.
Those are so cool. Yeah.
And it was like $12.
And do not forget contacts. Contacts need to be changed out. The liquid in them is meant to be changed out every 1 month to 3 months.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I don't wear contacts very often, but I'm very, like, cleanly about my contacts because they will last longer.
Well, you should
if you're
be.
constantly taking out the water.
Yeah,
And
I
you should
have
be, because
contacts
it's
that last
very-
a year.
Yeah, and it's very easy to damage your eyes. So, like, number one thing, and we can talk about it another day, but contacts are so important, guys. Make sure that you take care of them. Don't take them. I've heard stories, because I wear contacts like regularly, and I've heard stories of people taking them out and like they didn't have any solution, so they put it in saliva, which is weird, or water. Like, don't do these, guys. Like, if you really have nowhere to put them, like, you need to either get rid of them or.
Oh gosh, no. Okay, now my brain is like painfully like.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
and you also need to change your cases every so often too, because obviously they're plastic, so they're porous. Eventually they will collect bacteria.
Well, and you can actually disinfect the cases too. You can soak them in alcohol and get them cleaned.
True.
Alcohol or peroxide, and then after they've dried, you can use them again. But you just need to make sure you clean everything out very regularly. And yeah, like everyone said, every month you need to take them out of the water. You need to clean out the water, clean the case itself, and then, well, not the water, the solution, and then put the contacts back in and put the solution in there. And I wear contacts usually every day. I finally got a pair of glasses, but I still typically will wear my contacts more than my glasses, just because the distance between my eyes and my lens actually causes me headaches. So
No.
I'm so blind.
I just got a comment here. Sakura says actually it's 2 weeks on the contacts. So, I mean, cleaning it even more often is not bad. So 2 weeks is a really good time too. So
I have this hydrogen peroxide cleaner that's it's a contact cleaner specifically that's meant with hydrogen peroxide, so the bubbles help clean it out. So I always, after wearing my contacts, I actually put them in the solution, because there are these just cute little cages that you put your contacts in and fill with hydrogen peroxide. You let it sit for however long the solution asks for. It's usually like 2 to 5 hours.
those little bubbly ones.
And then I switch it out to the actual just contact solution.
Yep.
Because then you know for sure that they're cleaned out and there might not be any dirt or bacteria. Like, they're good to go.
Yeah, and I replace the water, or I replace the solution in my contacts every 2 to 4 weeks. And I have actually, like, some of them like, it's better if you wait longer, because the way that they're printed, the more you clean them, the more that the actual print will come off. Well, not come off. It just fades. It doesn't really come off. It just fades. And so, like, I've had to learn which reseller, like, follow their directions, and a lot of contact sellers will give you directions, like, explicitly explaining how to keep them clean and make them last the whole year or 6 months or 3 months that you're supposed to have them.
And can I just say as well, like, guys, anyone that has not have contacts, like, please go to your doctor first. Don't listen to us. We're not doctors. Like, first go see your doctor. Even if you don't wear contacts or you don't need, like, eye correction, like, go to your doctor and start there, please.
Yes.
Don't just randomly buy contact lenses at, like, the flea market or whatever. Just do it safely, because you can permanently damage your eyes.
Yeah,
so just
once
a little
you need to know the
disclaimer
curvature, the diameter, and then another thing too, if you just buy without a prescription, you go with Plano, you might actually have something that covers your pupil and inhibits your vision. So, like, you need to make sure that the measurements are correct.
And then I'm going to pop in here because we got a lot of comments now. So Craftily Ever After says, love a good disinfectant. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We don't want things growing. Let's see. John Paul says, hi, Sammy. You look amazing as you always do. You all look amazing. Thank you so much, John Paul. And Joe says, hi, ladies. Let's see. Craftily Ever After says, my sister works with eyeballs and warns me of the horrors of not properly cleaning. Yes. So please, you only get 2 eyeballs. So take care of both of them.
Yeah.
And
Some
then,
of us, it's second nature. But if you're not familiar with it, please do your research, and please see a doctor, and just stay safe.
Do it safe. Yeah, and Carmela says, I need that because I just change the solution every day, so those cleaners are a really good idea.
Yep.
And John Paul says, it's a charcoal case, so the combo of charcoal and peroxide clean, and also distill the peroxide and after 6 to 8 hours. So great overnight cleansing. Yep.
Yep.
Good.
There's lots of different ways. But yep, that works.
Thank you guys. You guys know so much as well. Thank you for helping us share the information.
We love more advice. And now I'm like, charcoal cases. Why didn't I think about that? I'm going to go buy a charcoal case. Several charcoal cases because I have like 9 pairs of contacts. So.
I don't wear contacts, but I'm all for eye health. So
yes, eye health is number 1. Yeah.
All right. So we've gone from the wigs to the makeup,
the face,
to the eyes. All right. What do we want to talk about next? Because there's I don't wear jewelry. Do you guys wear jewelry? Do you guys want to talk about jewelry? I can't
only
really
if the
wear
character
jewelry.
does. Really.
Yeah.
Earrings are the only thing that I would like recommend. Maybe a hydrogen peroxide every once in a while, since it's actually going into your skin. And once again, my sensitive skin gets angry, so I usually do my earrings. So when I put them in, if I have to wear them for long periods of time, no bacteria builds up. But besides that.
Well, and I know some people are allergic to like, you know, the if
Coating.
it's not like a real metal or whatever. So be aware of that too. Don't suffer for your cosplay. If you're developing allergies, really, you know, do the work and find something that you can wear without pain.
So what I do, my mom, she burns if it has anything with nickel in it, and she puts nail polish, like a clear nail polish coat on the back of anything that is metal, and that helps a lot with the irritation. So if you found like that one piece and you're like, I need this for my costume, do that, but be safe if you can find something better at a higher quality.
You could also back it in silicone because my skin, the acid on my skin eats through nail polish. And so I learned this the hard way.
Damn, you really are an alien.
I swear I'm an alien, but it's okay. What's up, guys? I'm here in peace.
Sam is a lizard person. This is true.
This makes sense. I like the heat. But
she's like cold-blooded and
you can get silicone backing for a lot of like bracelets and earrings and other things, and they're like just like some of them even have like little sleeves you put on, and so that's another way if you really, really like a piece and you really want to wear it.
Oh, and then Steve says, I wear clip-on earrings. You can change a lot of earrings from, you know, like the pierced ears to clip-on earrings. So that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about now wig, eyes, face, neck, and ears.
That sounds like a song for kids. Wig, eyes, face, neck, and ears.
Yeah, I mean, this is a song now. This is the cosplay, like, head, shoulders, knees,
song.
and toes.
Yeah.
All right, so now we can talk a bit about fabric. Someone mentioned spandex, and I am a big spandex person. If this spandex has been printed, if it's just regular spandex, like 4-way, 2-way stretch, if it doesn't have any pleather on it, then you're generally fine to throw it in a washing machine. It has to be on cold, and it has to be on delicate. And I'd suggest washing it on like a very short cycle, and then you hang dry it. Do not dry it. Unless you have an air dry cycle that you completely trust in your dryer and you know it's not going to be hot. Typically, I suggest hanging your spandex. But spandex, most of the time, is machine washable. You just have to do a delicate cycle on cold.
Yeah. And then also make sure you don't put anything in there that will snag it, like for women, like, you know, your bras,
Right.
even though your bras should be in lingerie bags, just be mindful of that as well, of what you wash it with. Should be other gentle items.
I would suggest putting it in a large delicates bag. They have them. If you're really concerned about like bodysuits and stuff or pants or like spandex shirts, just throw it in a large delicates bag.
That's what I do when I wash my cosplay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do want to mention something because I actually posted on my Instagram last Tuesday for Tip Tuesday, is that when you're thinking like for your aftercare of your costumes itself, if you're making them, you can actually start preparing for that as you're making it. Because I like to machine wash stuff, but we have a lot of costumes where we add things, right? We add like armor and other embellishments and everything like that. Make them detachable. And you can make them detachable with like Velcro, snaps, magnets are my favorite. So rare earth magnets. I have my Bahamut costume. It has like a bodice. It has all this stuff on it. And I can remove everything and just throw that bodysuit in the washing machine.
I would say, if at all possible, if you can do, you know, separate the fabrics out. Let's say you have a bodice made of one type of fabric and a skirt made of a different type of fabric, rather than making a dress, making 2 separate pieces, because that'll affect how they end up getting washed or cleaned.
Yes,
a lot of, I mean, if you guys, you know, let's say you do a lot of princess stuff. If you guys have noticed, like the Disney parks does literally exactly that. They don't do princess dresses, they do bodices and then skirts. And it makes it easier, especially if your costume is big and elaborate. But yeah, if you have two different fabrics, going on, then you might end up with one that shrinks and one that doesn't.
Yep.
And that's not something that you want.
And actually, it's really good for storage too, because then, you know, instead of having spaces for all these big gowns, you know, it's like you can separate them. I put stuff in pieces all the time, and it's a lot better. Sometimes you can fold some pieces that if you need to, if you have like limited hanging space, you might be able to fold like tops or something and put them somewhere else. So definitely, if you can, think about storage and cleaning before you make your costume. So that's a really great thing to do too.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
My 2 cents for this is going to be, because you guys got all the fabric covered. I agree with all that. I have nothing new to say. But if you use any type of like binding top or a binder or something underneath your clothing, I know some people do tank tops. I'm actually wearing a like an open chest binder right now. Be very mindful about washing. Like always wash your binder, always keep it clean through the weekend. Usually when I take my binder off at a convention, I hang dry it like in the closet or something, just so it's dry for the next time I wear it. The one I'm using right now is actually a gel. It's a silicone styled one. It's kind of what you would normally use for like
Those backless, strapless bras.
Yeah, it's not. It's basically a silicone strip, and then it's corseted in the back, so I can kind of open my chest a little bit. And so it's 2 different materials. So I usually just hand wash this. I do a little bit of soap and warm water. I wash the back, the cording I have really well, and then I wash these out really well and just leave them dry hanging. Any form of binder, I would just usually recommend hand washing, just to keep it from stretching or pulling. Sometimes if you wash it a lot, it'll actually keep stretching too much, and eventually you'll have to just buy a new one. But that's also very important. Like anything that's touching your skin, anything you have between you and your costume, just make sure it's dry before you wear it the next day.
Yeah,
that's actually a good point that you mentioned, is that you can, if it's not too hot, it's really hot here in Phoenix, so it's hard for us to do, but you can layer, like, wear undershirts and camisoles underneath your costumes that, you know, if your costume is very difficult to wash, then at least you can wash the pieces underneath and kind of like keep the costume going for a little bit longer.
Or you can use shapewear as that too. Like they have like big, like Colombianas, like they have these like big shapewears that literally go from like your top of your body, and they cover like all the way to your shoulders down to like where like a pair of shorts are, and you could treat that not only as a shaper but as like a layer in between.
Yeah, so just a couple comments. Shane Chandler says vodka and water spray and all the things, wigs and costumes, it is good, but it's only an interim cleaner. Like eventually you do need to clean the costume, but if you want to lessen the amount of cleaning, or it's really very difficult and it'll take a lot of time, vodka, and I think it's half and half, right? It's 1-to-1. Yeah, 1-to-1 vodka and water spray. You don't need to use the kettle one. Just get the cheapy stuff. So yeah, you can definitely use that to
and
disinfect.
That's where like getting the sports equipment disinfectant's really beneficial, because they use that to disinfect. It's the only way they can clean their stuff. Yeah. So it has the antibacterial disinfectant. It has everything in it that you would need. So if you're not comfortable with making your own like 1 part vodka, 1 part water thing, then just get a sports disinfectant.
Yeah, and then Stephen Mutta says, I have superhero suits and I'm looking to do puffer paint on a Spider-Man suit. So that's probably something you could hand wash or like just kind of
I would not put puff paint in a washing machine or drying
machine. But you can hand wash it. You can absolutely hand wash. Yeah. And they sell basins for that too, that you can like
or you just do it in your bathtub. Yeah, I do mine in my bathtub.
I have, most of my stuff has to be hand washed because I use a lot of delicate fabrics. So I do have I bought like one of those like dish bins, and I just fill it with warm water and just like a soft fabric soap. And I use that to wash anything. And then I also, I think it was like $10 at Walmart, but I got a layered rack that's just like a drying rack that has like a bunch of bars on it. And that is so great for absolutely everything, because you can actually hang it up in your bathtub and then just leave it there to dry.
Yeah.
And so that's a really nice trick to have.
Yeah, and we had someone on Instagram mention, hey, remember corsets are typically not machine washable either. So if you're going to wear a corset, maybe have another layer. That's where I suggest doing like, honestly, shapewear is super cheap, and they have some of it's not even really a shaper. It's just kind of like a little bodysuit. So like.
Yeah. Well, when you invest in one piece of like shapewear, typically you can wear that under multiple costumes unless the costume has an interesting cut. So like you don't have to buy one for each costume unless that costume is cut kind of weird.
And like you can get like one in nude and one in black, and you're pretty much covered.
Right. Just like bras, right?
Yeah.
Those of you who wear big giant ball gowns to cons, you have probably definitely noticed that the bottom hem is just completely filthy after the con. I mean, depending on how long it is, obviously, but if it touches the ground, it's going to be probably very gross. I would highly recommend using OxyClean makes like a little blue gel cleaner. Doing the hem by hand before you wash the entire thing, that'll go a long way to getting like the black off of it. That's what I've used on my Sarah ball gown every single time, which is pure white. And it's always worked every time. The little OxyClean gel, it works very, very well.
That's awesome. Those are like the sticks you can get in the grocery stores, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tube, and then you like, it's got like little bumps on it, to, like I guess for texture, and you know the gel comes out, you push it down on your hem, and then you just kind of massage it in. But yeah, it works very, very well.
For my anthropomorphic friends, if you have tails that hang, that just reminded me, I have my holo tail. Her tip is white, but she actually hangs past my feet and sometimes hits the ground or hits stairs as I'm walking up them. Doing something like that actually works. It's just acrylic. I use just a fake fur, so you can use like a gel like that where you can touch up any of the spots that might have gotten dirty. I usually hand wash all my tails, matters, because half my tails are just like a cotton, and then half my tails are like a rubber with a metal inside because they're bendable. So those ones I treat more like my armor, and I spot treat any spots that might be on the bottom of the tail and just wash that part. But then I keep the rest of it, and I just use Audubon to keep the rest of it fresh and kind of keep it.
Sorry.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you have like a really delicate fabric, like a chiffon or something that's like super just like sheer see-through delicate bridal typically, you probably want to invest in getting it dry cleaned or having some kind of at-home dry cleaning process. They have those. It's just very, very tedious. Honestly, it's much cheaper and totally worth just taking it to a dry cleaner. Like I have an Elsa cosplay that like only the tips of it got a little dirty, but I know that if I wear it one more time, like I was able to kind of wipe off some of it off with like a magic eraser and stuff like that after I disinfected it. But I know that the next time I wear this, I'm probably not going to be as attentive as I was the first time, and it's going to get messy. And I know that the only way to clean this is dry clean because it has gems on it and mesh, and it has like it's got chiffon, velvet, spandex, anything you can possibly think of. It's basically like this needs to go to a dry cleaner.
Anything that has hot glue on it, please don't put in a machine.
No.
Not unless you want it to
even
be
like adhesive
like two
gems,
separate pieces.
like those gems that you're supposed to iron on. That's basically just a little bit stronger version of hot glue. So the same thing will happen. They'll just peel right off.
Yeah, please don't. Not unless you would like them to be divorced from one another.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
And that can't be good for your machine either.
No,
no, not at all.
No.
We'll pause for a second to let people ask some questions because we've talked a lot about cleaning, and I'm just going to see what time it is. Oh, we're doing good because I want to make sure we also talk a bit about storage and stuff because we have some more storage. Because obviously there's so many different types of costumes and stuff. But if you guys have any questions about disinfecting, washing, cleaning, if you have foam armor, by the way, and you haven't lined it with anything, because I have some foam armor that I built in the very beginning that before I was thinking about these things, that's where you'd want to use like the sports disinfectant or the 1-to-1, like 1 vodka, 1 part water, and disinfect that way and let it air out, or even a charcoal cleanser of some kind just to help get the bacteria out. And just a word of warning, over time with foam, even if you're cleansing it, it is going to smell, and your own body fluids will break it down, so you'll start seeing cracking. So like my Amazon armor I made I think 3.5-4 years ago now, and it's getting to the point where like I've only worn it 5 times and it's starting to really wear apart. But I'm also in a really hot environment, so think about your environment and your body.
What do you typically line your armor with, Sam? Like, how do you do that? This is the first I've been hearing.
So my new
about
thing, what I
lining
do,
armor.
what I do is I'll take foam armor and then I'll line the inside of it with just like any cheapo fabric that I have, scrap fabrics, like I'll hot glue it in there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to look pretty. And then I'll put snaps or Velcro in there and put another layer of fabric and treat it like a t-shirt. And that way I can separate the 2 layers, and then the armor never gets dirty.
Cool. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, but that took a while to figure out, guys. This is only like in the past year. I was like, oh, why don't I do this? Or you could do what I've been recently doing too, is covering my foam in spandex or other fabrics. But I create a little pocket. So you open the pocket, you take the foam out, you wash the fabric, you put it back, you're done. So.
All right.
And I don't have to spray paint. So Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's a few comments.
Go ahead, please.
So Joe says, my wife's big steampunk outfit are usually in many pieces. I put a lot of my big pieces into smaller pieces too. I mean, it seems annoying, but later when you store it, you'll be like, whoa, okay, this is so much better.
It's way easier for storage, honestly. And when you have a lot of pieces, typically you don't want it to be all one garment anyways, because then you have, it can kind of alter the shape. Depending on the heaviness of the bottom piece, it can pull the top piece down and warp it. Which is kind of a problem that, like, say, a lot of like Belle cosplayers would have. If you make the Belle big giant gold ball gown as one dress rather than two pieces, all of that skirt material is going to pull down on that bodice, which is already off the shoulder. So making things in separate pieces, it makes more sense for storage, it makes more sense for cleaning, and it makes more sense just for wearability. It might be easier to just make the one piece. I don't really find it easier, but maybe some people do. Well, I guess maybe you only have to buy one zipper that way, but I would highly recommend making things in separate pieces if you can. Like, you don't have to go crazy and be like, well, I'll make the sleeves detachable and I'll make like you don't have to do that, but just where it makes sense to have the divisions, like usually between top and bottom. And if you have like a skirt that has like an overlay, you can even make the overlay a separate piece, or, you know, whatever works.
I've seen that,
you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that also helps too to make, like, if your skirt's got a lot of layers, it'll kind of like alleviate the weight on the waistband as well.
Right.
So yeah, if you're making big ball gowns, there's, you know, you might want to go ahead and separate those into other pieces.
For sure. Always, like, if you can put something inside of something else, and then like move it that way. I do a lot of traveling. Like, none of the conventions are near me. I live in a very rural area. Even SoccerCon is like an hour and a half drive for me sometimes if traffic's bad. So, like, I have to always be very conscious of how to fit everything and make it compact. All my weapons can be broken apart into multiple pieces, so I can just sit them in a suitcase or something like that. The only thing I say, keep in mind if you break things in pieces, especially foam, it matters on what kind of, like, finish you have, but sometimes the finishes can actually rub together, and if you will store them against each other, sometimes they'll stick, and then when you pull them apart, they'll actually break apart the paint.
Vinyl and foam.
The hard way. So, like, make sure you either put a layer in between or you research your top coat.
Yeah. When I went to Tucson Comic Con last year, I did Maya the Siren for Borderlands 3, and I used this new strontium aluminate, and I didn't know exactly how to seal it, so I did what my standard sealing was, and it stuck to my actual leather. But thankfully it came off the leather, but there was like this missing mark from this back foam piece, and I was like, and so it kind of cool when it glowed, it just looked like it was missing a little tiny corner, but I was like, oh, lesson learned. After painting, because I painted all the leather, and so like the leather paint and the foam paint had reacted with one another.
The same thing can happen with fabrics too, you guys. If you have something that's white and you would like it to stay white, never store it or even travel with it against a bright color. Some fabric dyes can rub off, or, you know, it just depends on what it is. Sometimes it'll be fine, but like in my closet where I keep all of my stuff hanging up, I never hang something white next to something bright, ever.
My Elsa cosplay got its own bin. Because it's so white. I was like, you get your own bin.
This is also in terms of when you're making your costume as well. Like I always forget, but you're always supposed to wash your fabric first, and that will also like eliminate, like, if there are any dyes that are going to run off, that will help take that out. Then definitely.
And if it's a fabric you can't wash, then I suggest disinfecting it first, and then perhaps taking it to a dry cleaner, or just knowing that, hey, you might have some rub off in the future.
Keep in mind when you're washing stuff too, like, wash light fabrics with light fabrics and colored fabrics with colored fabrics.
Yeah, it's right. It's the red sock thing. Don't ever put the white sock or the pink sock. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I just like dyed arm socks recently.
Oh no.
Oh,
you told me about this.
Oh no.
I put them in the wash with some towels, and my towels are now like perfectly pink. I thought that I had rinsed them quite well, but I apparently did not rinse them enough. So.
Oh no.
So we have pink towels now. It's all good.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about storage now, because we've talked a lot about aftercare. If you guys have questions, let us know. If we don't cover it, we can absolutely answer the questions later. So this is my closet.
Yay!
And all of my costumes are like they have 2 layers of things and they're on hangers, but then what I've done is I folded them very like gently and tucked them inside, so they're just like little short layers of things. And this is where my Amazon goes. It's missing. But there's tons of drawers. I've got lots of different bins. Everything's rolled up and secured as tightly as possible. And all of my like wigs and everything go into a bag and get attached to whatever costume they belong to. And then I showed this because it's so cute. But I was talking about like even if you have like displays where you're like, I like all of my creatures and stuff, you can have storage under your display shelves too. So I have like little things where I store patterns and spare fabric. Why are you not showing
that
this?
for you?
So yes, Jinx made this for me, and I use it currently to store all of my thread.
Yay!
So it's really good. So she used a cigar box, so you can take like the most random things and turn them into like magnificent stuff, right? For my fabric storage, I got what's technically considered a hanging closet, and I put it underneath my couch. And so it has all these little compartments, and I just pull it out with the little handles, unzip it, and put all my fabric into there. I also took a bench. Like I have a bench, like I purposely went searching for a long time. And it's just a bench for my crafting area that is also storage.
Nice.
So think of whatever way that you can possibly add more storage, and just imagine adding even more than that. So like there's storage within storage in these bins. Same thing here, where there's all different kinds of sizes of bins, and you can use that to store things. But yeah, gosh, and this is just one thing. If you have big props, know that you need to have somewhere
space for the big props.
Because this is
you can also like display your props too.
Well,
That
on
would
the
be their
wall.
storage.
If they're not
Is
that
put 'em up on
heavy,
the
this
wall.
one's a little too heavy, unfortunately.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be able to go on. That's
This
just gonna sit there.
from like here down is all wood. This is back when I had a jigsaw.
Sam.
I think I still have my jigsaw, but this is before I realized I could have made this much easier if I'd just broken it apart.
Yeah, make it
But,
split in the middle. That's what I did with my Moana orb.
Yeah, and then here
Oh my
we
gosh,
actually
you
even have like
guys.
stage props. Look, guys, it's our stage props. So just
that
know
we'll
that-
never use.
Yeah,
Please,
no, we will. It'll
please,
happen.
please.
But
Plan these things ahead of time, you guys. Split
Yeah.
stuff if you can. I have been in this situation several times where I've made something and then I have to travel and I'm like, oh no, this
Like,
is
how am I
bad.
gonna do this? Yeah.
This my Wonder Woman was actually commissioned, that armor, and it was not cheap. So it gets its own bin where it is very, very carefully
Special.
stored. I take care of that Wonder Woman armor like it's my child.
there.
And then
Oh,
That's some of
Above
our
the one-
cosplays, right?
above the Wonder Woman box, like literally every other prop is shoved into that other bin.
I have a prop bin too.
I definitely have favorites with my stuff for sure. But you guys can also see I have like interfacing next to it. I also store my fabric in that cabinet. So that's where I keep the iron-on interfacing. And next to the cabinet next to it has just tons of fabric in it for my current projects.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Let's see here. Let's open Jinx. Look at all these bins.
So I have a wall full of shelves. It's a whole, like my whole wall is covered in shelves. And I got these bins at Goodwill. So people like clean out their closets and they use them as shoe bins, and they usually sell like stacks of like 5 or 6 for like $1 or $2, which I know you can get regularly priced, anywhere else. But if you need a lot like I did, just keep going to Goodwill and checking them out. Another thing about plastic storage is that after Christmas they go on sale too. So if you need some plastic bins, like check them out after Christmas. So these bins, so these, yeah, you can go to the next one. So these, I put more of my delicate gowns and stuff that might affect each other into these dress bags. And I got these all on Amazon.
Sorry.
So I put what I can hang in there, or anything I can store, like my Moana flower crowns I can put at the bottom. And then if you go back, then I put all the other accessories into bins and mark them. So anything like shoes, if I can fit shoes in there, or like Diva's headphones, or Princess Bubblegum's crown, like all those things I kind of keep together. So at least if I can find them, they're in just 2 different spots. I used to have like everything in different places before I organized. I couldn't find pieces when I wanted to wear something. So, and then of course shoes, just get one of those door hangers, and you can throw the rest of your shoes in there too. So yeah. that's how I store my costumes and stuff like that.
I don't have a lot of space, so I have to be really, really, really creative. Because I share a very small place with a roommate. Most of my stuff is in just plastic bins. I usually, this is how I would put together, this is actually one of my smaller costumes. So it's my yukata, it's my accessory pieces that aren't delicate. If they are delicate, I just get like little tiny boxes. You can use like jewelry boxes or just little boxes at the store. Just get something small enough that like kind of fits all of your props. And I try to put them all together in a nice plastic bag. Most of my bags have a couple holes in it, so there is some air coming in. Sometimes if you seal them, it can ruin some of the fabrics, or it can create bacteria if you're not washing properly. My wigs I actually have a separate storage for, which is just a big plastic bin where the top half there is all my hairsprays, my hair nets, my wig stands, all my stuff, and then the other 2 layers are just the menagerie of the wigs that I own. But everything else usually goes into one bag with all the pieces I can possibly fit into that bag, all the props, everything except for the wig essentially goes into a nice bag. And the bag, I think that was just from Amazon. My roommate had ordered a big thing of fabric and it came in that bag, and I was like, hey, can I steal your bag? But you can get just like really nice Ziploc bags to put your fabrics in, and if they aren't big enough, and you're cheap right now, you don't have enough money, you can use a grocery bag. Just make sure it's really clean, there's no food, like nothing broke apart in it, and you can use a grocery bag to kind of fit everything in, so it's at least kind of condensed into one place, and then you're less likely to lose everything if it's all in one spot. And then I have way too many plastic bins, but they're all shoved together, and I've numbered every one of my bins, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the top of every bin, I have a list of what costume is in each bin, from bottom to top. So I can just kind of like quick reference that list, look into, that box right there and go, okay, Haru, my Kitsune, Suo, all of them are in this box. They all fit nicely. And another trick is to have 2 lists. So have your box list that's going to be everything in that box. And then I have a binder right here behind me that actually has that same list, but in the binder. So if I'm trying to like quickly find something, I don't have to open up every single box. I can just like open up the binder, look for the costume, and then find what number box that costume is in. And it helps me a lot since I basically have to put everything in my storage space. I can't have it sitting out. The only thing that's out are my shoes. But I usually wear my costume shoes out of costume.
Well, and it's good to have shoes air out anyways. Like I'm a big fan of like if you can have your shoes out in an open space and let air get to them, that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, the ones that I store in boxes, I put the charcoal things in. So I make sure that those kind of, But I have a couple things about things that Kichan mentioned. IKEA, they sell those Ziploc bags. They actually have some that are like extra, extra large. So those are really good to use. And then as well as if you order stuff on Amazon or whatever, they tend to put things in plastic Ziploc bags too. And I save them all. Yeah. So then I can like, if I need something to put a wig in or anything like that, then I use that. And then also if you want to get really, really like super technical and like futuristic, apparently there are these like sticker tags that you can buy. And I don't know that much information about them, but they'll have like a QR code on it.
Yeah.
And then you can scan the QR code, and then in the app you can make your list of everything. So it's
What's
great.
in there?
Yeah, I think one of you guys told me about that. I'm not sure.
Me.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. And so that can be a great way if you're ready to like take things to the next level.
I'm not like quite as organized as in like I don't have all of my costume pieces for each costume in one spot. I usually have the garment hanging in the closet. I have the props in a bin. I have whatever. So I keep a digital list of, for Ray, these are all the costume pieces. Because I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely gone to cons before and like gotten there and been like, I forgot my blaster, or I forgot, whatever. So I do have like a digital checklist for every costume of here are all of the pieces that you need to pack.
Yes. I'm going here for a reason, because cosplaytutorial.com is when you're trying to shop or pack or store or do things like this, there is, a convention packing list. and you basically just checkbox whatever you want, and I mean it just keeps going and going and going and going. I'm serious, it goes a long time, and they even have just one where if you just want to put like the information there, and then you can submit it and it generates a PDF for you.
Ooh.
I've used that before. It's super helpful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know this existed, and I made my own list. But packers, like last minute, I have to leave in like 3 hours kind of packers. Having that list is such a stress relief because you do it when you're not crazy panicked, and you have this list of everything you could possibly need for a costume. And then once that panic hits, you can just grab the list, pack everything, and you're good to go out the door. And you have that kind of peace of mind that you don't have to worry.
I have one of those.
Typically, as soon as I finish the costume, that's when I make the list. Like, once it's 100% done, I make the list immediately.
Nice.
Usually in preparation for, the photo shoot or whatever. But that's, please make the list before you're stressed out.
Yeah, I have that, and then I also purposefully put my portfolio on my website so I can be like, wait, let me look at this. What is on that? What am I
do the same thing actually when I'm trying to pick a cosplay. I'll go to my website and be like,
well, especially with like Yojimbo, because like each shoulder's separate. There's a jacket underneath this cape that supports it. There is a breastplate underneath this. There's a shirt. There's the bandages. There's a wrap here, an attachment here. 3 different skirts. I mean, the list keeps going. So like I look at it and I'm like, do I have all those pieces? Oh, I do. Okay, sweet.
Well, and guys, include literally everything on this list. So something that I include on my lists frequently is the corset string. If there's a special kind of underwear, like so that it's not, you can't see my underwear through it.
Makeup too, like with Yojimbo, I have to use an airbrush.
This? Like whatever. Like the most menial stuff, please include it anyways. You don't want to get there and then you're like, I have nothing to tie this corset with. This is a huge problem.
Ooh, and another thing. Oh, go ahead.
I have 4 different kinds of binders for 4 different kinds of bindings. So like I have to, that's one of the things I always keep on my list is makeup and binding, just because I will forget this and cry when I get to the convention.
Yeah.
And then also, guys, if you use like your everyday stuff for cosplay stuff, so it goes back into your regular closet, make sure you put that on your list because I've forgotten something. We're like, oh my god, this is in my drawer at home. Like, so make sure you put that on your list as well.
Yeah,
so you
I wear a lot of
out of your closet.
Sticky bras to fill in boobs for anime characters because I don't have those, and off and on I'll forget my sticky boobs at home. So now I've put them on top of my makeup box, so there's no way I can forget them.
Don't you guys hate when you leave your boobs at home?
I hate it. I do it every day.
Well, if you leave your boobs at home, then you have to go buy new boobs. It's kind of awkward, guys.
Or you got to make some new ones.
I mean, a sock and some stuffing will make it happen.
But we got a couple
comments on Instagram. We just someone suggested that if you're looking for cosplay storage video, like if you want something that kind of walks you through Acceleration Cosplay, apparently has a good one.
Cool.
And I know on YouTube that there's a lot. I mean, there's just so many people have tackled it so many ways, and it's really whatever's in your budget, in your space allocation, and in your comfort zone.
Yeah, and we have a couple comments on Facebook, so let me go back here. Stephen Mata says, you guys are in Arizona. That's cool. I hope to see you guys at a future con. Whenever that future con is, nobody knows. Maybe next year. Shane Chandler says, making things super arable for many different reasons, but one important thing that was brought up in theatrical costuming group that he's in is big ball gowns. Extremely important to have a structural system. That makes sense because you don't want to change the shape of anything that you have, and weight distribution. Sure. Yeah, definitely weight distribution because that can have an effect on your back and spine.
Oh yeah.
So, and Steve says he takes his to the cleaners, but it gets expensive sending suits in 4 to 6 suits at a time. That is true. I get nervous. Like if I've made something myself, I won't send it out. Like I don't even know like if it's gonna like last through this dry cleaning. Steven also says he used vacuum seal bags. That's a great idea. Definitely anything that will you can get wrinkles out of. Don't put your sensitive fabrics in them, but like cottons and stuff. Definitely a good idea.
Made space saver. That's actually really good for travel too. If you're doing airport travel or something, I mean, you kind of have to worry about the weight because it condenses, so it can get heavier. So if you have to worry about your weight, keep that in mind. But if you're trying to travel and you need to make as much space in your bag as possible, I always use the vacuum seal in situations where I'm flying out to a convention.
For all your swag that you're gonna bring back.
Yeah, you need as much room as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I pulled like the camping thing where I fold it up really tight and then I roll it, and so I have all these little rolls of things.
Yeah. I do roles too.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Shane also says some of the more infamous gowns on Broadway, the costume team has actually had medical teams come in to evaluate the costumes to see how safe they are. If you're that kind of cosplayer, then yeah, definitely keep an eye out for your safety and your health. That's important.
Learn
sure.
what to set properly.
Yes.
Please.
And learn your limits. Don't go too far. I know
You mean
people
I can't
probably have
carry
injuries.
30 pounds of fabric on me?
No, Sam. No. Joe says pegboard is great. I actually have a pegboard up as well. I put all my sewing stuff on there.
I
And
have mine
Steve says-
behind me.
Yeah, and Steve says special underwear when you wear super suits. Yes, please.
Please
Yes.
wear a
We
codpiece
should-
of some kind or dance
That's a whole
belt.
nother-
I don't
yeah, that's
want
a whole
to
nother
see your
show.
testicles. I'm sorry.
That is a whole nother show for undergarments. Maybe we should probably do that. I know Liz, you did a panel, didn't you? Like cosplay undergarments and stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a future show, guys.
Yeah.
I
And
deal
same
a lot
thing with like women
finding
too, like
things.
women and like boobs and nipples and things. Like you are when you go from like outside with like where it's warm in Arizona and you go into our air conditioning, you
And it's like
immediately
40
have
degrees.
reactions.
If you don't want those things saying hello to everybody, then you gotta have that plan.
I mean,
But
I
hey.
shiver every time. And same thing like when I went to Emerald City Comic Con, like it was warmer inside because of the people and because they're like, oh freaking A, it's 30 degrees outside. And then I walk outside and I'm like, ah, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
So just
So
yeah.
So I think we've gone over a little bit. So that was great, guys. You guys actually contributed a lot to our chat, which is great. We love to hear all these new techniques and ideas. So be sure you guys catch us next week. Before we do that, let's see where you can find everybody on social media. So Kichan?
I actually just fixed everything. So my
Yay.
social media on Facebook is Keychain Cosplay, all one word. And then on Instagram and Cosplay Amino, I am what my tag name is on there, Keychan_cosplay. Yeah.
And Liz?
You can find me at Ambrose Cosplay on Facebook or Ambrose_cosplay on Instagram and Instructables. And I'm actually posting a brand new Instructable today. So keep an eye out for that.
You do TikTok a lot now, don't you?
Mm-mm.
No, not anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sam convinced me.
Oh, okay.
But so as everyone's aware, if you're not aware,
right. 'Cause-
TikTok
yeah.
is going to be banned potentially in
Yeah.
40 days or
That's true.
less. So if you need to, please get familiar with the Instagram Reels.
Reels,
Actually,
right.
super
I actually just
easy to
tried
use.
Reels and it's not too bad. It's
No.
I mean it's pretty much identical to
Yeah.
TikTok. So if you're used to TikTok, Reels is really easy to jump into.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Oh, and I have a website, jinxcosplay.com. But on social media, I am the Jinx Cosplay, all one word, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam?
Yeah, I'm Sam with Thermo Cosplay, and it's thermocosplay.com, and you can find me pretty much everywhere the sun shines except for TikTok.
And then also, guys, you can follow our CosTalk Live social media. Please do, because we're trying to grow it. So help us out if you like to support us.
And
We're on
next week, do we want to talk about next week?
Oh yeah, let me just mention these on
wait,
on
what's next
Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and Twitter. We are CosTalk Live. Should be one word, CosTalk Live, and then on YouTube is two words, so CosTalk and Live. So yeah, go ahead, Sam.
What is next week's? Why
Oh,
am I
Twitch
forgetting
too.
that?
Twitch.
Twitch.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
And
Next
next-
week is choosing your cosplay.
That's what
right?
I thought. Okay, thank
Ooh.
you. So next week is choosing your cosplay, and we're going to have a special guest. I'll be announcing who they are, but I'll be posting more information about them. But it's Dust Bunny Cosplay, and so you'll have another person next week. And then just so all of you are aware, Labor Day weekend we will be taking a break, and we will return to you the following week.
Yeah, and as always, guys, if you have ideas for subjects, please send us messages. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we love your support always.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for following us, and have a good Sunday.
Sundays at 12 p.m. Pacific. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Now I get to click everything. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
Oh.